I bet you're wondering if you should spend all that time unlocking and leveling up the new Lienna 57 LMG. And in short, yes you should. And I'm going to tell you exactly why and show you the best beginner, mid-level and fully leveled attachments to ensure you can make the most of it from the get-go. I'm Billy Croc, I'm a top 5% Warzone player, and I make short and informative guides for Warzone that will give you a huge advantage when facing any opponents. The Lienna is a great mid-range weapon with a large magazine size and is surprisingly mobile for an LMG. And to top it all off, it also has little to no recoil. All that combined with an amazingly quick time to kill makes it really compete with the likes of the STG and the Cooper carbine. So let's jump straight into the beginner level attachments. However, if you already have this gun partially or fully leveled up, then skip to the mid level or the fully leveled attachments in the timeline or chapters below. So into the beginner level attachments. For the muzzle, take the G28 compensator for additional vertical recoil control and flinch resistance. Both are really great for long range weapons. And for the barrel, take the Baumann 317mm LS for additional aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. These are nice to have and they're not going to give you any negatives, so great, take it. And then for the optic, take the Nidal model 47 just to give you that little bit extra clarity whilst aiming down sight. And then over to the stock, take the Baumann GMK2 for additional horizontal recoil control and aim down sight speed. And then moving on to the underbarrel, let's take the Carver foregrip for vertical recoil control as well as hip fire accuracy. Yes, this is impacting your aim down sight speed. Don't worry, we're going to make up for that later on, and we already have throughout this build anyway. And then for the magazine, we're not taking anything here as it takes away your rate of fire, and whilst yes, it does give you some other benefits like aim down sight speed and bullet penetration, bullet velocity and bullet range, your damage is going to be reduced overall by reducing the rate of fire. So we absolutely don't want to be taking a magazine in this first instance. And then on to the ammunition type, take the FMJ rounds for additional bullet penetration, just allowing you to shoot through those walls a little bit easier. And then onto the rear grip, take the granular grip for additional aiming stability, aim walking movement speed, aim walking steadiness as well, and then recoil recovery. Look, it's got no negatives, so absolutely just take this as the first option you got. But the moment you unlock the taped grip, take that over this one. And then on to perk 1, take fleet for additional movement speed and weapon swap quickness, just allowing you to fly around a little bit easier with this gun, as well as swapping it in and out. As an LMG, they are a little bit cumbersome, so the weapon swap quickness doesn't go amiss here. Then on to perk 2, take fast melee for increased melee quickness. You can see the full build on the screen now. And now moving over to mid-level attachments. For the muzzle, we're going to be taking the Mercury silencer for increased sound suppression, horizontal recoil control, and bullet velocity. All great things to have. The horizontal recoil control is quite ideal because vertically you can just pull down. Horizontal is a little bit more difficult to control. And then for the barrel, again take the Baumann 317mm LS for additional aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, as the next option actually takes away from your recoil control, and for an LMG that isn't something you want to be doing. And then over to the optic, take the Saturn 1.35 lens, as it gives you that little bit extra zoom than the base iron sights. Also just takes a really long time to unlock a decent optic on this one. I'd say the moment you unlock this one, I'd go for it, but again, then you're going to be waiting quite some time to get something better. The 3 to 6 times zoom and the 2.5 times zoom are both unlocked really late on this weapon, so you are just going to have to slog it out a little bit with those low zoom optics to begin with. And now over to the stock, take the Baumann 88 padded for additional recoil control when mounted, crouched or prone. A lot of the LMGs and assault rifles are using this kind of stock now, where you have to be crouched or prone to gain the additional recoil control, but it allows you to absolutely beam across the map when you're crouching, so make sure you are crouching when using it though, otherwise it's completely pointless. And now over to the underbarrel, we are taking the M1930 strife angled for additional horizontal recoil control. It does hinder things like aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, but ultimately the horizontal recoil control is quite key for this LMG. And over to the magazine, take the 8mm Klauser 50 round mags for additional recoil control, movement speed, aim down sight speed and rate of fire increase. Yes, it does harm your bullet velocity and range and bullet penetration, which the bullet penetration is quite lacking on this gun, especially given it's an LMG, but it increases that rate of fire to a much more competitive rate and ultimately is going to bring the time to kill on this gun in line with a lot of other assault rifles and LMGs out there. And over to the ammunition type, take the FMJ rounds for additional bullet penetration, as we've not really unlocked the ones we want to be using just yet. And onto the rear grip, take the polymer grip for additional flinch resistance and accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. Then over to perk 1, take either driller for additional bullet penetration, as I mentioned it's quite lacking on this gun, or take fleet just to give you that additional movement speed and weapon swap quickness. And then onto perk 2, take surplus for additional weapon XP, giving you around 20% extra, meaning that you're going to level up this gun a lot faster. You can see the full build on the screen now. And lastly, over to the fully leveled attachments. For the muzzle, we're taking the MX silencer for additional vertical and horizontal recoil control, alongside extra damage range and sound suppression. And then onto the barrel, take the Fry 432mm shrouded for additional recoil control and flinch resistance. Yes, I know there's the option of taking the Wenger 406 rapid barrel. The recoil on this one is just a little bit too much to handle at those longer ranges, so make sure you're taking this one. And then onto the optic, take the G16 2.5 times zoom for additional recoil control and extra magnification. Yes, you could take the 3 to 6 times zoom, but it's really going to extend out that aim down sight speed, and don't want to be doing that on this gun because it's already quite slow to be aiming down the sight. And then over to the stock, take the Bauman 88 padded for additional recoil control whilst mounted, crouched or prone, and this is going to allow you to beam across the map when you're crouching. The recoil is pretty much non-existent by that point, but just don't forget to be crouched whilst you're shooting, otherwise it's going to make the attachment utterly useless, and yes, you're going to find a lot of recoil in it otherwise. And then over to the underbarrel, take the M1930 strife angled for additional horizontal recoil control, aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. And then over to the magazine, take the 8mm Klauser 75 round drums for additional recoil control, improved accuracy, an improved rate of fire, better movement speed, and a much larger magazine size. Yes, it's going to take away from bullet velocity and bullet penetration as well, but it's a small price to pay when you're gaining all these extra benefits. Then onto the ammunition type, take the compressed rounds, very similar to the Cooper carbine. It's going to just improve that rate of fire, just allowing you to kill your enemies that little bit quicker. And then onto the rear grip, take the hatched grip for additional recoil control and improved flinch resistance, just allowing you to stay on target when you are being shot at. And then over to perk 1, take tight grip for improved accuracy and recoil control during sustained fire. And then onto perk 2, take on hand for additional aim down sight speed. Yes, you could take fully loaded, but you've already got 75 rounds in a magazine, and you could probably just find some ammo before you run out of that. You can see the full build on the screen now, but if you're looking for the best SMG with the fastest time to kill to pair this gun with, then take a look at the Type 100 video I just made. It gives you the full beginner, mid-level and fully leveled attachments for it, just like this video, to allow you to make the most of it from the get-go. If you did enjoy this video, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.